and gentlemen, we are talking about the top 5 unlicensed video games. Well, what is an unlicensed video game? It is a game produced for a console without the express consent of the console manufacturer. However, unlike bootleg games, it entirely uses original content. It's created by the game creators as opposed to being ripped from somewhere else and used in their game. Essentially, there's no publishing rights with the console and production company of the console that it's going on to, but they haven't taken elements of other video games to create the game itself. Everything comes from their house, everything comes from their industry. It just so happens there's no permission for it to be on the console. Unlicensed games by and large are looked upon more favourably than bootleg games because they're creating their own content. They're adding more to a platform without having any sort of licensing agreement, which is, bad, but it's not the same as taking bits and pieces from other people's work and attributing it as their own. Without taking up any more of your time, let's get started with our top 5 unlicensed video games. Number 5, The Adventures of Captain Comic. Created by Michael Dino for the IBM PC, this game was eventually ported over to the Nintendo Entertainment System by Color Dreams, a company we'll be talking about later on as well, as they are the main North American company responsible for doing things like this. They wouldn't make the games necessarily, but they were the publishers for all intents and purposes. They had access to the infrastructure that could produce the cartridges at a faster rate than most. Forgive me as I read this directly from my iPad because names are confusing back in the day. The Adventures of Captain Comic was originally titled The Adventures of Captain Pixel and the Galactic Security Patrol in 34010 AD. Simply rolls off the tongue, but it continued life as Dino's personal capitalistic experiment. Well, what do I mean by his personal capitalistic experiment? Again, I read from the iPad. The Adventures of Captain Comic started out as an experiment to test the viability of 2 theories. The first as to whether a real arcade type game can be done on a standard IBM PC with an EGA card, and secondly, given the first can be done, if it is possible to make money doing it. Well, I've come to a conclusion on the second point, but I'll let you judge the first for yourself. What a scam. Within the game, the titular Captain Comic traverses a 2D platforming world within the planet of Tambi. Sent to collect 3 different alien artifacts like a weird cosmic Indiana Jones, the whole game ends once Captain Comic's got his hands on these 3 special entities. Avoid creatures similar to the usual platforming fare, creatures that will come towards you and go past, creatures that follow a set pattern, and creatures that stand still. But added to Captain Comic are creatures that will follow you once you've gone past them and won't leave you alone until you've defeated them. Coming into contact with these little critters, which to be fair, it's their home, you're the invader, they will die and you will lose 2 shields. Captain Comic has total 12 shields and he can replenish them throughout the game, particularly if you reach 50,000 points at any particular time. But once you're out of shields, the next hit drops you dead. Pay your respects to Captain Comic Fallout series, as this was the first game ever, as far as I've done my research for 5 minutes, to introduce a fictionalised cola beverage into its lore. To defeat these varied enemies, Captain Comic has to get his hands on a Blastola Cola, which gives him the opportunity to shoot down his attackers and earn points. I will now try and find a Blastola Cola to put in the background of all of my videos. Number 4, Master Chew and the Drunkard Who. Master Chew and the Drunkard Who was produced for Asian release by the company Joyban in 1989. The same year the game released in Asia, it also released in North America with publishers, that's right, Color Dreams. As with most unlicensed games published by this company, they came in either a light blue or black NES cartridge, unlike your standard grey. Master Who has attempted to defeat the god Shiva in return for this deity's curse upon his village. Now Who is a drunkard, disappointed with his failure, and it's up to his old friend, the player's conduit, Master Chew, to fight back. Travel 7 different levels collecting the symbols of harmony in order to finally challenge in-game bosses. In the climactic final levels, the player must defeat the God of Destruction head-on in a 1-on-1 contest. Or 2-on-1 if someone wants to take control of Drunkard Who. That's a difficult question to decide who's who. Wasn't meant to be a pun, more just I don't want to offend my friends. Number 3, Batman and the Flash. A little something different for our third game, we have the 1992 release Monster in my pocket. Plays through the franchise's most distinct characters, be it Vampire or the Monster, as you seek to get revenge on the person that shrunk you down to pocket-sized, Warlock, the other monster who's decided he wants to rule over all of the mini monsters. You must battle friends turned foe as you travel through both the home, the street and a tranquility garden, on way to challenging Warlock at Monster Mountain. Wait, what did I say for the title? Batman and Flash? Yeah, here's the thing. When it came to the Asian release of the Monster in My Pocket video game, the video game for the popular Critter Collector series, instead of using the original sprites, they switched to Batman and the Flash for some reason. Why, I can't find any reasoning. What it changed about the story, I can't find any reasoning. Are you still trying to get your revenge on Warlock? Have you still been shrunk down to pocket size? Are you still battling monsters that were once your friends? I genuinely don't know. If someone can find it and play it for me, I would love that. Another 2D side-scroller, the game is lauded for its introduction of a double jump feature, a little bit ahead of its time in 1992. According to a review on the website Mobile Games, the game is worth playing if you're interested in it, but not worth seeking out if you're looking for something that was truly ahead of its time. The animations are fairly solid here and there, but can also be a bit sloppy, and there's not very much you can do outside of the double jump feature and short flamethrower bursts. Number 2, Cheetah Men. I always felt that Chester Cheetah would be better as a superhero. Too bad he had a crippling cheese addiction. Really though, the Cheetah Men are the results of experimentation on 3 orphaned cubs stolen away from their now deceased mother on the African plains. They were abducted by their mother's murderer, Dr. Morbus, and through experimentation the cubs are now fully grown human cheetah hybrids. Eventually they turn on their abductor, Dr. Morbus, and seek revenge, trying to hunt him down as he puts more and more genetically enhanced animals in their way. The Cheetah Men must make their way through a series of different levels, defeating other human-animal hybrids on way to extracting their final revenge. Take on the challenges of the White Rhino, Hyena and Ape-Man in side-scrolling action, using one of the 3 brothers and one of their 3 unique combat elements. Fight as Brother Apollo, making use of a crossbow, fight as Brother Hercules, doing hand-to-hand combat, or fight as Brother Ares as you make use of dual-wielded wooden clubs. If you want to have a go at Cheetah Men, the best way is on its original released format. That's right, on the original NES cartridge. One of the mythical members of the Action 52 multi-cart filled with unlicensed content, the Cheetah Man is one of the best. Number 1, Super 3D Noahs Ark. Wolfenstein 3D's ID software programming was so popular at the time, they were selling out the program to other developers. Originally purchased by Christian gaming company Wizardry in order to produce a licensed Hellraiser game, yes, I'm as confused as you are, they eventually let the $50,000 licensing agreement fizzle out into non-existence. Why? Well, because Doom had come out around the same time that they would have been releasing, and a game where you crush demons in hell was a bit overplayed. After allowing the license to expire, Wizardry went far more on brand, developing a first-person shooter style game which was based around Noah and his Ark, the famous tale from the Bible. Players would control Noah in a first-person scenario as he runs around the Ark using a slingshot to tranquilise animals and get them back into their pens. The fighting game Fight of Gods forgot about that and just gave him a staff that can make snakes. Available on the SNES in 1995, the game eventually got a re-release in 2014 as an itch.io. A year later in 2015, to celebrate the 20th anniversary of the game, it would be released on Steam, and if you want to see it getting played, you can check out the R-CADE Glasgow Patreon. Within the game, Noah is largely besieged by goats, the most common enemy, and incidentally the only one that's unable to open doors. Other enemies include sheep, ostriches and oxen, as well as boss battles against characters such as Carl the Camel. How do you defeat a beast? Using the coconut watermelon slingshots you unlock throughout the game. I now relate to a camel. I too hate eating my 5 a day. So that was our top 5 list. Are there any unlicensed games you think we might have missed? Are you interested in seeing our gameplay of Super 3D Noahs Ark? Well, you can go to our Patreon right now to check it out, or you can just go to our Patreon to support all the work we do here at R-CADE Glasgow. There you get some bonus video content, you get some bonus blog content, and you get a discount on our web store. Where's the web store? Well, it's at rcadeglasgow.com/store. If you want to keep up to date with everything going on at R-CADE, we have the R-CADE Glasgow Discord, or you can catch us on social media at Twitter, Instagram or Facebook at R-CADE Glasgow. I've been Sam from R-CADE Glasgow. You can catch me on our Twitch channels, twitch.tv/R-CADE Glasgow or twitch.tv/R-CADE2 TWO throughout the week as we make funny ha-hads for you to laugh at. I don't know how to end this now. Normally I have a quit. I'm going to do a dip. Oh, you heard my ankle snap?